What's up, everybody? So I wanted to go live real quick and talk about the stock market and Bitcoin's effect on the stock market. Let's go kind of just do a deep dive into what's going on here. When you see a company like Tesla putting 1.5 billion into Bitcoin, and when you see silver and precious metals going up at the same time that you're seeing big companies putting a position into a decentralized asset like Bitcoin, I've made the argument in the past that Elon Musk and Tesla would be very smart to be making a large silver position. Now, they might not be publicly stating that. They might already be doing that. They might already be buying silver right now. Because if you're making a decision to put 10% of your treasury into Bitcoin, keep in mind that's treasury on a publicly traded stock that they decided that recently they issued shares to the open market and did secondaries to make that large treasury that they have. They didn't get that treasury just from cash flow. They got that treasury majority by doing secondaries, which is what I said GameStop should do, which they're absolutely crazy, in my opinion, to not do a secondary. When the stock was at those lofty levels. But when the stock was at lofty levels with Tesla, their executive team was very smart to do a secondary and put that, money in their war chest. It was genius. So with that treasury money, they're realizing, just like Michael Saylor at MicroStrategy realized, well, this money is being diluted. And if we sit on this money, it's essentially being burned as it's just sitting there. It's just getting burned, and constantly more and more of it is just getting more and more eaten away from our cash pile here year over year. And we don't really trust how much they've printed. This dollar's been diluted a lot. Okay, well, let's take a speculative play and put 10% of our treasury into Bitcoin. Now, why do I have this big pile of silver here? Other than the fact that it's eye candy and clickbait, because let's be honest, that's what it is. It's eye candy and clickbait, and I really appreciate you all tuning in and all the new subscribers on the channel and everything. So this pile of silver, it is an eye candy thing. Won't shy away from that. But at the end of the day, silver is something that these companies should be buying if you're in the tech sector, specifically Tesla. If Tesla is willing to put 1.5 billion of their treasury's money into Bitcoin, they need silver for their solar panels. And silver, as far as I can see, continues to go up. It's looking like it's doing pretty well. These industrial metals, all my fellow silver squirrels out there, we all are fans of the industrial metals, and looks like our industrial metals are performing. Look at the 6-month chart. Look at the 6-month chart here on platinum. Look at the 6-month chart on silver. Silver is breaking 28 an ounce right now, up 32 cents. Platinum over 1330 on platinum. If you know me and you've been on the channel for a while, you can go back in my videos and see that I was against Mike Maloney's argument that platinum wasn't money. That was back when platinum, I want to say, was 800, somewhere in the eights. That video's up, but I'm very bullish on platinum, very bullish on silver. The industrial metals are overperforming gold even by quite a bit. If you look at gold's 6-month chart, it doesn't look anything like silver or platinum's. But the point is, they're talking on Kitco, and a lot of other guys are talking about Tesla buying gold. And I'm going to relate this to the stock market and how I think Bitcoin could actually affect the stock market, and precious metals can affect the stock market. And this is actually, it's some information that you're going to want to know, especially if you are invested in the stock market. You're going to want to know what we're going to talk about in this live stream. And I will get to all the comments over there. I just want to get over these main points on the video here. And if you're late to the live stream, I will post this, publicly. The video will be posted later. But I believe this is some good information for you to know, especially for market open tomorrow, because we've had a holiday week where Monday has been shut down on the stock market. Silver, however, is performing the way it is. Why wouldn't you, if you were, Sony, if you're Tesla, if you're Samsung, and you use a ton of silver, literally tons of silver in your products, and you have money sitting in your treasury that is losing year over year to inflation and being diluted, why would you not want to buy a material that you are using that is going up in price on the open market and is becoming more and more limited in supply? So the premiums are skyrocketing, the supply is limited on silver, and you're scared of your dollar, crashing. You're scared of inflation. You're scared of the dilution that has happened. And yes, there has been some major, major dilution in silver, not in silver, in the dollar, So yeah, if you're a Tesla, it's like, why would you, if you're going to park 1.5 billion in Bitcoin, you better be silently buying silver too. That would be a brilliant decision to have a silver hoard. Already on their materials list. I guarantee there's silver on the materials list because they're using it in their solar panels. They're using it in their electronics. They use silver already. It's already a material. It's already an expense. But why not convert not only from being silver being an expense, but also being an asset, being a place where you park your treasury? Okay, so that's why I wanted to bring up the silver thing, and I want to talk about why silver has been going up. The demand is exceeding the supply. The premiums are wider than ever before, and it's not slowing down. It's not slowing down. As a full-time precious metals dealer, I can tell you silver is continuing to have crazy demand for it. And honestly, what's crazy that I'm seeing is dealers paying more than retail lately just because they want to have it in their inventory. I am seeing dealers consistently outpaying retail, which is crazy to me. I've never seen something like this. I wasn't in the business in 2011. I'd imagine it was something similar in 2011 on that spike. But this time around, it's a little bit different, it seems like. But it's the first time for me experiencing where the dealers are paying more than retail often, which means that they just want to have the silver in their inventory and they have so many buyers that they can charge a big premium for it. Pretty crazy. And in that scenario, if you're Tesla, if you're a company that uses this material, why would you not want to accumulate some with the extra resources in your treasury? If you're willing to take a speculative bet in Bitcoin, you should be thinking about it in silver. That's a good time for me to say that this video is not to be taken as financial advice. It's just financial education based on my opinion. I could be completely wrong. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not a Series 7. Not to be taken as advice. I have to say that disclaimer, but let's get more into this next part of this the details in this. When you see companies like Tesla putting 1.5 billion into Bitcoin, that means they're scared of the dollar. Now this is kind of the mind-boggling moment here. What are stocks valued in? Are they valued in Bitcoin? Now, some stocks might be, because you look at companies like MicroStrategy from Michael Saylor, that stock has skyrocketed, not from their performance as the actual company, but the fact that the company accumulated a lot of Bitcoin that then went up in value. And then obviously the company has to go up in value because they have so much Bitcoin. So that's a very interesting situation in the stock market here. If you see companies accumulating Bitcoin, they are essentially getting out of the dollar. And now people that are buying into their stock, although the stock is valued in dollars, their assets consist of Bitcoin. So in that scenario, you are technically buying some Bitcoin. Now Tesla is valued at over 800 billion. So 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin is not that substantial of an amount of their company, not the same as MicroStrategy, where it's a large amount of the company is Bitcoin now. But if you see more of that happening, it's very interesting to me. So the companies that don't have decentralized assets in their treasury are at risk. They're at risk. If you see precious metals going up, that means there's a lack of trust in the dollar. And justifiably so. Justifiably so. There should be a lack of trust in the dollar after how much they've printed. So if you're seeing that, you have to realize that although your stock, let's just bring up a random stock. Let's say, I know the AMC and all the different people in here. There's a lot of people in here that don't like me for saying that I'm anti-Dogecoin. How's Dogecoin working out for you? Is it working out well? Is it? Did Tesla buy some? Sorry, not sorry. Let me get to this. So let's look at Apple, for example. Apple's sitting at 135 a share. Apple's sitting at 135 and change a share. When you are buying Apple stock, you're buying it in dollars. So let's say the dollar index crashes. The real ticker that people need to be watching, and I want to get this information out there, is the dollar index. So the dollar index is down a little bit by 4 cents, and it's still sitting at a lofty level of $90.30 on the dollar index. Basically what the dollar index is, which is this right here, The dollar index is telling you what other countries think of the dollar, what they're valuing the dollar. And right now it's sitting at lofty levels. So if you see the dollar index start crashing, so let's say the dollar index just happened to get cut in half and went to 45. Although your Apple stock might show that it's $135 per stock, per one stock, it's $135. If the dollar lost half of its power, realistically, that stock is half that price. Realistically, you see 135 on paper, but realistically, the dollar lost its value. So that stock is trading at half of that, but you just don't see it yet because the dollar is losing its value. And if that treasury is sitting in dollars, well, then you're at risk as a company. So Michael Saylor has a very logical argument there that more companies that don't convert their treasuries, that don't make the decision to get out of the dollar, are putting themselves at risk, and they're putting their investors at risk. So it's a very interesting thing that is playing out before us. And so if there's one thing I wanted to tell you all in this live stream, and we will get to a Q&A at the very end, everyone doesn't seem to be valuing the details of things. You see the guys in the Dogecoin hype, the Dogecoin hype guys, and I leave them. If you notice in the comments, in the live stream comments, I let them go. I could have a moderator in here. I know a lot of people want me to put a moderator, but I just kind of want to expose just how much of pumpers they are because they're just after a quick buck. They don't have diamond hands. They want to take the diamond in the center and split. That's what they want to do. And, I went live when it was peak hype, when Dogecoin was 8 cents? Was 8 cents? Doggy coin, it was 8 cents. Now where is it? Where's it now? Because I'm just a shill, right? I'm a hedge fund shill. That's what they were telling me. Who was right? Who was wrong? We can go check the tape. We can go check it. Was it a week and a quarter ago, something like that? I said, Tesla, they would be foolish to go into doggy coin. They should probably go into Bitcoin. Turns out they went into Bitcoin and they didn't do anything with Dogecoin. And then Elon Musk finally realized, there's a lot of people sitting on a lot of this. And that was his recent tweet. He's like, I'm going to need some of the whales out there to let go of their positions for me to keep pumping this, because he realized that he was doing something wrong there. Study what you're putting your money into. A lot of guys out there, and this relates back to the stock market, they look at Tesla stock, for example, and go, wait, wasn't it just 300? Wasn't Tesla stock just 300 and now it's 800? It didn't go up that much. It went up a lot, but not that much. No, there was a 5-to-1 stock split. The valuation is at 800 billion. There was a 5-to-1 stock split. So realistically, you have to multiply that 800 by 5, and now you have 4,000 a share. So it went from 300 to 4,000, but there was a 5-to-1 stock split. Same thing as when the Dogcoin people, doggy coin people go, it's only 8 cents. Well, now it's only 5 cents. It fell, 40%, 30%? Wonder if somebody would have went against that back when it was at 8 cents. But now it's at 5 cents something, 5 and change. You see 5 cents. But what you don't see is a $9 billion market cap. I look at the market cap. That's what I care about. I want to know the market cap. I want to know how much money is in this. I want to know how many coins are distributed. Same thing with the stock. I want to know how many shares there are. What is their market cap? Don't look at the stock price. Don't look at the coin price. Bitcoin is, you see a high price, but that's because there's a limited amount of coins. If you had billions and billions of Bitcoin instead of 21 million, the price would be far less. You have to look at it from a bigger picture than just that small amount, because if you see, it's only 5 cents, it can easily get to $1. No, it can't. It's at an 8 billion valuation. It doesn't deserve anything near that. 8-9 billion, it doesn't deserve anywhere near that. So you have to understand what the makeup is of this company, what the makeup is of this altcoin or whatever it is you're putting your money into, and study the white paper, study the actual stock instead of just thinking about what you see on the surface. You got to look past the smoke and mirrors. But back to the stock market and the situation that we're in, this could turn into a very big avalanche here. Because now the people on Wall Street, they love to play copycat. Warren Buffett's doing what? Yeah, we're going to do that too. Berkshire, they're doing that. Okay, we're going to do that too. Tesla's doing that. We're going to do that too. Microsystems doing that. MicroStrategy's doing that. Yeah, we're going to do that too. There's a lot of copycat stuff going on Wall Street. So when you see Tesla do this, if you think other companies are not questioning what's in their treasury and trying to make a educated strategy on how to be prepared for a possible dollar collapse or inflation going into hyperinflation, I think it'd be kind of crazy to think that they are not all thinking about that right now. That all of them are thinking, what do we do with our money in our treasury right now? They just printed 13 trillion in like 12 months or a little bit over 12 months. Yeah, we should probably figure out what to do with this money in the treasury. You would want to get rid of something that is heavily diluted. You'd want to figure out what to do with it. If you're a company that needs a certain material and that material is getting more and more expensive when being valued in dollars, silver is getting more and more expensive by the day because we're buying it in dollars. You also can buy it in other fiat currencies as well, but it's getting more expensive across the board. So if you're sitting on dollars and it's costing more for the material that you need, and you're scared of dollars, and you've already bought Bitcoin, so it shows you're scared of dollars, and you literally wrote that in their filings when they bought Bitcoin. They said specifically that they are scared of inflation. They want to protect their reserves. It was something along those lines. They even brought up gold, I think. And why would you get gold if you were Tesla? You would get silver because you actually use it. You need it. Now, they might actually even need platinum for a few things as well, but I know they need silver in their solar panels. I know that for a fact. So why would you not accumulate a material like that when you're scared of a dollar going down? But back to the point of, is Bitcoin going to collapse the stock market? I think there's going to be some survivors. And it's crazy to say that because I used to be super anti-stock market. But I think if there are companies that are smart enough to park their treasuries into certain assets, that could actually save the stock market. Because look at what happened with MicroStrategy. Their stock skyrocketed, not just from selling software, not just from their business, but mainly from the fact that they accumulated so much Bitcoin and then Bitcoin went up in price. They protected their company. They protected their treasury from the inevitable collapse of the dollar. In my personal opinion, it seems pretty inevitable. If you see more stocks on the American market companies start doing this, those might be the survivors of a stock collapse. But the ones who don't get prepared, the ones who are still keeping a large lump sum of dollars, if the dollars do drop, you got to remember, if you see Apple at 135, and Apple, last time I checked, isn't Apple trying to find a way to get their money back out of China? Isn't Apple trying to find out how to get their money out of China? Isn't that happening right now? It seems like Bitcoin would be a logical approach. But they're trying to figure out what to do with their cash pile right now, and they haven't done anything but just sit on their cash pile. And they have a ridiculous amount of cash with Apple. So if you saw the dollar lose half of its buying power and Apple is sitting on a ton of cash right now, a ton of it, what do you think happens to the valuation of that company? It's only a matter of time before people go, oh, shoot. Well, the dollar lost half of its buying power and they have a lot of dollars, so we have to adjust that in the stock price. If they're sitting on that much cash and Apple's sitting on a lot of cash, and then the dollars lose half their buying power, well, then half of their treasury just lost half of its value. So it's not about seeing 135 a share. It's about knowing what's the denominator. What is this valued in? What are you valuing this company in? Prior to 1971, all stocks were valued in gold and silver because our money was back to that metal prior to 1971. So if you bought a stock on the stock market, you were essentially buying, gold with gold and silver. The stocks were valued in that metal because the dollar was valued in that metal. But now the stock is valued in dollars that are heavily diluted. So that's a very scary situation here. Something to think about. But will Bitcoin collapse the stock market? Will silver and gold going up collapse the stock market? Mainly, I'm talking about silver. You guys know I'm mainly silver. Gold is not my first choice, obviously. I am silver, platinum, Bitcoin. Platinum and Bitcoin are getting pretty close, but but those are my main 3 holdings. But gold is my 4th holding. It might even save it. Silver and gold, silver and Bitcoin rather, might even save the stock market. It might even save it, because if there are companies that are parking their treasury outside of the dollar and they are protecting themselves outside of the dollar, now a dollar collapse would still greatly affect these companies. But you see Tesla saying, hey, we might actually start accepting Bitcoin for our cars. You can pay us in Bitcoin for our cars. You are essentially protecting yourself from, how diluted the currency has become. So what I want to really stress, just like the people in Dogecoin don't understand that it is actually somewhere between 8 and 10 billion valuation on Dogecoin, and they see that 5-cent figure and go, oh, it's only 5 cents. It's like, this is what Jordan Belfort did. He pumped penny stocks because he'd have people that didn't do their research and go, oh, you're kidding me. 5 cents. Oh, it's going to go to the moon. Of course, it's only 5 cents. Oh, geez. Yeah, I'll take a million of them, Jordan. That's how Jordan Belfort from Wolf of Wall Street got rich. Was pumping penny stocks. Oh my gosh. And on those too, they weren't able to print 5% of them per year at an inflation rate. But the Dogecoin thing, it blows my mind that there's so many people that think of it that way. Oh, it's only 5 cents. No, it's 8 to 10 billion on their valuation. That's the thing you need to be looking at. Just in that same way that they're not looking past the smoke and mirrors, you have to look past the smoke and mirrors on the stock market and go, what are these stocks valued in? They're valued in dollars that are diluted. So is the stock market up, or did the dollar lose its buying power? Is the dollar diluted, or are stocks up? That's the real question. And the truth is the dollar's diluted. And that's why the stocks are up. And the effects of hyperinflation haven't been felt yet, because it's a bit of a gradual process. But lately it's seeming like it's a bit of an S-curve. And an S-curve starts out like that and then goes through, if you know what an S-curve is, it goes through a crazy exponential, goes slow, exponential. And I think we're going through slow inflation rate, and then all of a sudden it's going to go exponential. And if there's anything that is, there that could protect these companies, it is assets like silver. It is assets like Bitcoin. It is getting out of the dollar and protecting your treasury from being diluted. It's not just the 13 trillion that it was printed. I'm saying rough figures in the past, year and a half. Or year and a quarter. It is more than that. It's the commercial banks that have been giving out loans nonstop at 0%. There are 2 things that could collapse the stock market right now, in my personal opinion. The first is the collapse of the currency it is valued in. This is a whole lot different right now. And I want to get into Bitcoin a bit more on this. But what's different than right now than 2007's collapse is this isn't a housing bubble crisis. This isn't bad loans on houses that could collapse the stock market. That is nothing. That is nothing compared to what we have right now. We have a currency bubble. We have a bubble in the actual currency the stocks are valued in. We have countries trying to get out of the dollar and publicly stating the dollar is like evil. We have other countries trying to get out. And what is the dollar index? It is what other countries think of our dollar. And right now it's sitting at lofty levels. In my opinion, I think it should be around 40. I think it should be around 40 when they've printed as much as they have, and it's sitting at 90 and change. So that is the first thing that could really collapse the stock market is, what are the stocks that you're buying? What do they have in their treasury? What are their assets? That's the things that people really need to be looking at right now, because the hype thing, the whole, oh, there's going to be this many Ubers on the road by this time. There's going to be this much, I swear, all of these altcoins, they have these white papers. You read these white papers, and I can't tell you how many altcoin white papers sound something along the lines of, we are the next self-driving lawnmower. Coming 2025, self-driving lawnmowers, invest in us, Dogecoin. Sorry, that's literally the pitch I'm reading when I read these white papers. And at the same time, in our stock market with price to earnings ratios in the thousands, there's so many companies that are valued in hype. But not only are they valued in hype, they're valued in dollars. that has been diluted. So all of those hype companies, and this actually includes Tesla. This actually includes Tesla. All of the companies that are valued tremendously on hype, they're also valued in dollars that are heavily diluted. So that's a very scary storm that's, mixed in right there. It's a very scary storm. My whole thing that I would want to look at if I'm getting into the stock market is I'm interested in grayscale, although I don't really like the whole 2% a year thing. But Bitcoin's growth rate seems to be outpacing 2%. But if you don't know how to buy Bitcoin, probably a good idea to just go into grayscale instead. I'm also looking at companies like MicroStrategy that are positioning themselves for the storm that lies ahead. You want to get onto the ship that is, been preparing for a crazy storm ahead. That's the ship you want to go on. You don't want to get onto a little rowboat when there's a crazy storm in front of you. You don't want a rowboat with no assets. So the one thing that we need to be looking at in our stocks is what are their assets? How affected are they by the dollar? If the dollar collapsed, what would happen to this stock? And if a stock is valued in hype, in future hype right now, and doesn't have assets to back their future hype, the best thing that Tesla did was do those secondaries. Was the best thing that they could have possibly done to get that money in their treasury. Now that's step number one. If I was them, I'd try to raise as much capital as possible right now when the valuation's $800 billion. I'm not getting near Tesla right now. I'm not putting my money there right now because it's just valued in a lot of hype. And I believe in Tesla. I'm a big Tesla fan. I think that they're going to continue to be around and their product is amazing. But they're valued in a lot of hype that is valued in dollars. So that scares me a lot. But if they were smart, they'd get more of that capital. But then you have that's step number one. Step number two is what do you do with those dollars? You put those dollars into something. You got to put those dollars into something, which is, I think silver is a great choice for Tesla because they're using it. I mean, I think it's a good choice regardless, but the fact that they use it in their material, that's amazing. They're using that in their actual items that they produce. So that'd be a great way to get rid of the dollars, And Bitcoin, I think, is another great way to get rid of them as well. So those are the companies that I'm interested in getting into, and how much assets do they have? How much real estate do they have? Those types of things I want to look at in the stock market in 2021. And they're very few and far in between, those companies. Very, very few and far in between. So as you can tell, I'm very passionate about this subject. I'm just nervous about how much money is parked in 401ks, how much money is parked in IRAs for the long haul, but the instrument that they're being valued in is being diluted. It's kind of evil. You have your money stuck stagnant somewhere that you can't touch, you can't do anything about it, but meanwhile, the instrument that it is valued in is being diluted. It's very unfair. It's very unjust. And so if I had a 401k right now, I don't have one, but if I did, I'd be very upset about the idea. I mean, if you're for the stimulus packages and you have a 401k, I would kind of look past the smoke and mirrors. Because it's pretty scary when you have a job that might be deflationary, when your salary is deflationary where it's not going up, and it might even be going down. So say you have a salary at $50,000 a year or something, but the dollar is diluted, but your salary remains the same. So one of them is inflated and one of them is deflated. You would hope that it was your job that got inflated with what you were paying with got deflated. What you're getting paid with was deflated, but it's the opposite. The instrument that you're being paid with is being printed and diluted, so it's not as valuable as it once was. However, you're making the same wage. That's very scary. That's a very scary scenario. So with that being said, let's get to some Q&A in here. I wanted to do a quick kind of rant on that subject because so many people, aren't informed on what their stocks are valued in. And this isn't just to pump Bitcoin or talk about silver, even though I'm bullish on both of them and I hold both of them. It's to let people understand that the dollar is extremely at risk right now. It's an extreme liability to be in dollars right now. And I think if gold was like a needle headed for the balloon of fiat currency, Bitcoin is like an Olympian throwing a javelin at that balloon of fiat currency. It is a completely different animal. And the thing I wanted to talk about before getting into the comments and doing some Q&A in here, I wanted to say the big thing about Bitcoin and also about precious metals right now is the barrier of entry. Like when Bitcoin first came out, I think we can all remember in the live stream, we got there's almost 400 people in here. Appreciate you guys all being in the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. At the beginning of Bitcoin, the options on how to buy Bitcoin was very limited. You know, you had to download Coinbase, you had to do all of those things, and it was kind of like, okay, what is Coinbase? I don't really know what this is. But so the barrier of entry was high, and the knowledge about it was at all-time lows. So that was the situation you're in. The barrier of entry is high because you don't really trust Coinbase, you don't really know too much about it, but at the same time, the information on Bitcoin is at all-time lows. I'm talking about back like 2011. Now, the barrier of entry has dropped to the bare minimum, and the knowledge is at all-time highs. So there's more information than ever before about Bitcoin, and this also goes for silver, but the barrier of entry is lower than ever before. So more knowledge, easier to buy. We didn't really know what Coinbase was at the beginning of Bitcoin. Now we do, but I'll tell you what we really know. We all know who PayPal is. We all know who Cash App is. The barrier of entry to buy Bitcoin is so low right now that it's becoming an impulse buy, where people have money in their PayPal and they're like, I could buy Bitcoin with my PayPal. Might as well. They've made Bitcoin impulsive, which is wild. But yes, the barrier of entry went from being high in 2011 to being lower than ever before in 2021. And on top of that, the knowledge is higher than ever before. There's more information on it than ever before. So that's a perfect storm right there. But then on top of it, in 2011 into 2013, you didn't have companies putting 1.5 billion into this. You didn't have companies throwing that kind of money into this. You didn't have a grayscale back then. You didn't have this kind of thing happening. So this is totally different. Totally different. And that's why we're seeing new all-time highs. It's way different. But at the same time, with silver, there is more information about silver than ever before. And this goes for platinum and gold as well. I'm mainly platinum and silver, but there's more knowledge about it than ever before. It's being talked about more than ever before. The hype is at all-time highs, and the barrier of entry on how to get physical metal is lower than ever before. There's way more information out there on this, and it's way easier to get it. Although the supply isn't there to meet the demand anymore, that's a scenario that we're in. And that's a perfect storm for people getting out of fiat currency and moving it into decentralized assets. And so how does that relate to the stock market? I think these companies are going to start getting out of the dollar in waves. And if they don't, they're kind of foolish. You know, I think we're going to see a wave of them starting to get out of the dollar. And I would want to look at these balance sheet on how much assets a company has and how much money are they allocating to metals, to Bitcoin, to their assets, to buying real estate. Where is their money located, and how much of that treasury is parked in those places? Those are the things that we need to be looking at. You know, not just, let's buy this because of the hype. Let's squeeze this one to oblivion. Yeah, GME, because we all believe in GME. How'd that work out? How did that work out? The problem that we have in our current stock market, and this goes for our entire society, is everybody wants a quick buck. Everybody wants a quick buck in the stock market. Everybody wants a quick buck when it comes to their investments, when it comes to these altcoins. These guys that want you to buy doggy coin, they wanted a quick buck. And what happens when you want a quick buck? The person who wants a profit has to dump that position on the person buying at the high. So when you have a scenario where in your heart you go, I want a quick buck, and you go, yeah, I'm going to believe in this hype. Ask yourself, are these people making an investment with conviction? Do they really believe in this investment, or are they just pumping it to make a quick buck? Because if they're pumping it to make a quick buck, they're essentially going to sell out at some point in the near future, because you don't make any money if you don't sell that position. So the main thing I looked at with doggy coin is, 90% of people seem to be wanting a quick buck. They're not in this for the long haul. They don't have their diamond hands, as they call it. Although also diamonds are not really a good investment. Maybe a ruby hand would be better, or, emerald hands or silver hands, platinum hands. But diamond hands, kind of the wrong choice of material there. Diamonds aren't really that good of an investment. So the diamond hand thing, kind of ironic. But that's how I feel about that situation. Watch out for pumpers, because people who are pumping something, I'd be comfortable putting my entire net worth in silver. And I've said it multiple times, and I've had my net worth in pretty much in silver multiple times. I'll have a large percentage of my net worth in silver right now. That's why it's here. But I wouldn't be comfortable making that kind of a position in Dogecoin. Would you? Would you be comfortable parking your net worth in Dogecoin? Or would you be checking your phone every second, waiting for that chance for you to sell out and make a big profit? Because when you do dump, you sell. To make a profit, you sell, which dumps the position on everybody else. It's crazy that people don't understand that. But Rigo says we're all making money. No, you're not. You're not all making money. Last time I checked, Dodge is down, 40%? Since I started talking about it, at least. I went peak hype and got more dislikes than ever before. So everybody who likes this video, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for liking this video, because they came after me when I did that. And that video was posted, and it was the truth. It was the truth. And I got beaten up. But I won't let hype distract me from giving real information to everybody that is so kind to follow this channel and give me support. Thank you everybody that gave me support about that. It was painful. It was one of the first live streams I got in, and I had to get out because it was just the amount of attacking I was getting from these Dogecoin, preachers, these pumpers, was painful. They're a powerful little bunch, but it ended up being the truth. You can check the timestamp. I said there's no way Tesla is going to buy Dogecoin. They're probably going to buy Bitcoin. What happened? Literally the next day after that video, like some sign from the universe or something, when I was going through pain, I'm like, what if it does go up? I don't know. I hope I gave my genuine feel on it. I hope I didn't do something wrong. Dogecoin collapses. Bitcoin skyrockets because Tesla ended up buying Bitcoin and not Dogecoin. And now you got Elon Musk, admitting that there's whales out there. Publicly on his Twitter, he goes, if the whales sell out, then I'll be interested in Dogecoin. Well, what about when you were pumping it to 46 million people? What about then? Should you have told people that then? Hey, there's a lot of whales in this. I'd like Dogecoin if, the whales didn't exist that were looking to dump it on you. Maybe I get into Dogecoin then. Maybe you should have said that first, Elon. Maybe you should have said that first instead of after. That might have been a good decision. Might have been a good decision, But, it's the truth. And the truth hurts sometimes. Right now, you got Bitcoin at 49,000 and change. Where was Bitcoin a week ago when I made that video? Bitcoin a week ago, it was actually a little bit over a week ago. Was it in the 30s, 35, 36 when I made that video? Was it on February 4th I made that video? Where was Dogecoin then? Where would you have rather been over the last week and a half? Would you rather listen to the Dogecoin pumpers over there? I'm sorry if I'm sounding arrogant right now, but it was painful the amount of hate I got for telling the truth. For telling the truth that I've read the white paper. This doesn't make any sense. And I know there's people that go, oh, it only inflates 5% year over year. That's the whole point of a decentralized cryptocurrency, is to have a deflationary asset. That's the whole point. I don't want to buy into an altcoin that has a 5% inflation rate. I don't care if the inflation rate is capped. In 20 years, that'll double. The supply of coins will double. And that's like me driving a car and looking at a person skateboarding and going, this car, it's not really getting me to point A to point B the way I want to. I'm going to go push the skateboard. That's a better choice for me. What? That's essentially what you're doing, selling Bitcoin for Dogecoin. You're essentially driving, you're probably more like flying in a Learjet. And you're looking down, you're like, oh, look at the skateboarder down there. Oh, no. Take the jet down, put the jet, let's park the jet real quick. Let's land the jet. I want to get the skateboard. That's a better choice for me. The Learjet, it's a little gaudy for me. I don't really like the Learjet. Let's go into, Dogecoin instead. Just foolish. And so all the people saying, oh, it's only a 5% inflation rate and it's not that big of a deal. It's not. There's something better. There's something better that exists. So look into the fundamentals, understand what you are buying into, read the white paper of everything that you're putting your money into. Don't buy into hype. Now, I had to have the painful experience of going, against the grain when we're in peak hype situation there. But I wanted to look up what Doggy Coin's going for right now. Yeah, Doggy Coin's at 55 cents. 5 cents and change. Where was it a week ago? Over 8 cents when I was making that video. So I'd rather be in Bitcoin over that time period. Over the last week and a half, I'd rather have been in Bitcoin, I think. But how ironic, right? How ironic. All of them were just hating and hating and hating on me, giving me the hardest time a week and a half ago. And meanwhile, that position in this short period of time dumped 40%, 30 to 40% in that time. In that same time period, Bitcoin gained about that. So it is what it is. The video's posted. I haven't deleted any of my videos, although they deleted a lot of their comments. A lot of editing was going on. But let's get to some Q&A. But yeah, I'm sorry if I'm a little bit over the top about making the statement about that, but that was a painful experience going against the Doggy Coin people. Hang on, let me get to some of these. There was one person that did a super chat a little bit ago. I don't want to think that I missed that. Shoot, I might have missed one of the super chats. I know that there was one. I forget what they said. I was too busy ranting. I'm sorry about that, but I don't like to miss the super chats. Here's one. RMD123. Bitcoin is interesting. Not fully convinced. I do believe it is a good swing and take profit. Not sure about long term, though. There's something I want to talk about with that, and there's a reason why. What do most rich people do with their money? If they're smart. Well, rich people buy assets that they don't plan to sell. And then they leverage against those assets. So it might be a block in New York City. They might have bought a city block in New York City. And then they can go to the bank and go, well, I own this city block. Can you give me a loan against that? Well, they never had to pay the capital gains on the city block because they just own that. But they got to leverage against it. And they got to get a loan against it. And this is just kind of a crash course on kind of like a Robert Kiyosaki type method. If you haven't read that Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, I get nothing from saying that, but Robert Kiyosaki would love to have an interview one day. Somebody, if you're going to smash that like button and we could possibly put that into reality. But this is just a crash course on what he talks about. The wealthy want to park their money in assets they don't want to sell because they don't want to pay capital gains. So you have your money parked in something and then you're leveraging against that thing. And that's pretty much the whole real estate game in a nutshell. You're buying the asset and you're getting loans against those assets to multiply against those assets. And meanwhile, you never sold the asset. And so what does Bitcoin have to do with that? Well, the people who are trading Bitcoin have to pay a capital gain on it. So it's very hard to be profitable when you're constantly having to pay, half of it to the tax man every time you sell. So when people say that it's good for a quick swing in profit, no, it's not. It's good for a long-term hold, and then eventually you can get a loan against it. That's what's good about Bitcoin. So no, guys like Michael Saylor, they're not buying it for a quick flip. They're buying it to hold because they want it in the treasury. And then why would they want to sell it and have to declare, have to pay half of it to the tax man or even more than that because they bought it so low? That they want to hold that asset, and leverage that asset into their stock price and into their other assets, that they're buying. They want to leverage, get a loan against their Bitcoin. So they're not. It's not good for a quick swing. But RMD123, it's a great question, and I really appreciate the $5. Thank you, man. That would be my answer to that, and that's actually a pretty big piece of information there. Let me get to. RMD says, give us the 101 on platinum. I've been talking about platinum for a while. I've been talking about platinum for a while on the page. You can go back to my videos on platinum. I made a video on platinum on why I opposed Mike Maloney on that. And turns out platinum dramatically outperformed gold. Platinum is an industrial metal and it is extremely finite. So platinum is valuated in the billions, where everything else is valuated in the trillions. Meanwhile, it's used in industry. It's a very, very industrial metal, and there's more uses for it than catalytic converters, and that was kind of priced in. And so I see platinum as more valuable than gold personally. And a lot of people might think I'm crazy to say that, but I think platinum's a lot more valuable than gold. It's extremely scarce. There's a reason. I mean, not only do I think platinum is more valuable than gold, but the actual U.S. Mint does too. The last time I checked on a platinum eagle, it's a $100 denomination for a 1 ounce platinum eagle, whereas a 1 ounce gold eagle is a $50 denomination. I think platinum is far more rare, is literally far more rare, is used in industrial cases, so the demand is eating up at the supply and being used in industry, whereas gold is just being made and sitting there. So there's a reason why platinum is skyrocketing right now, is because you might see somebody start considering platinum a monetary metal. And if they consider platinum a monetary metal and more people start stacking platinum, that's actually a much smaller market. If these short squeezers, went after platinum and bought physical platinum, now that's a pretty small market there. Pretty small market there in platinum. Really, really small market in comparison to silver and gold. Silver's the largest, gold is the largest, then silver, then platinum. So I'm very, very bullish on platinum personally. And I always considered it like a lot of people, when I had that video with 100,000 of silver, by the way, silver was only 18 when I made that video. So silver's up like $10 since I made that video. But so that 100,000 of silver is, you take about half of it to be 100,000 now. But on that video, a lot of people said, oh, there's no way I could lug that around. How am I going to put 100,000 in silver? That's 400 pounds. I can't move around at 400 pounds. That was the reason why people considered gold, the easier store of wealth. In the same way that people look at gold as a store of wealth, platinum is not only that smaller, easier way. 100,000 of platinum is it's a small amount, It's not less than that. It's like 10 ounce bars, so it's a small amount of platinum. So it is a store of wealth, like gold is a store of wealth, where it's more dense in how much money you can put there. And at the same time, it's an industrial metal and way, way more limited, and it's not mined yet. So I could rant a long time on platinum, but I really like platinum. I really, really like platinum. It's a great metal. And look at the 6 month. The 6 month return on platinum has been astounding. It's been astounding. Now, let me show you what the 6 month return on platinum is. Check out the 6 month chart on platinum. So I'm a big fan of platinum, but I appreciate it. RMD123, thank you for the question. But I have a lot of videos on platinum. So if you want more information on platinum, there's a bunch of other videos on platinum on my page. Literally like 3 videos on platinum, just on platinum. If you want to go through those. Yeah, the reason for the premium is the supply isn't there to meet the demand. So if you have more demand than supply, that's when people go, actually, the spot price might say this, but I want this for my actual physical metal. And that's where a premium comes from, is the seller going, yeah, it says that on the ticker price there, but I need a bit more. I need a bit more because the supply, I can't replace this for that price. I can replace it for more, so I need more for it. And that's where the premiums come from. Now, let me get some more comments. I'm under 59 and 7K short of the minimum needed to roll my Roth into precious metals. Is there anything I can do? I can't say that I'm qualified to answer that question. That's a very kind of intricate question, but I would try to do everything in my power to figure that out. Or to park the Roth. You can park the Roth in certain stocks, so maybe put that Roth into precious metals stocks. Although SLV, it's getting pretty scary with SLV. There's a lot of new information coming out, and we're still actually digging all the information up on SLV. There's a lot of fine print there. There's a lot of fine print there. I mean, with anything with JP Morgan or Jamie Dimon, there's probably going to be a lot of fine print. And there certainly is with SLV. I would say PSLV is the better choice if you had to choose one. But yeah, I would try to park my money in places where the assets is the majority of the value of the stock, instead of places where the majority of the value of the stock is hype. And unfortunately for the U.S. stock market, the majority of the entire market is hype. The amount of price to earnings ratios that are in the thousands is like, okay, yeah, we're going to value a company 3,000 times what it's currently worth when the dollar is more diluted than ever before. Yeah. You know, it's wild. We're living in wild times right now. Totally wild times right now. How much percentage of portfolio into platinum is wise in your opinion, of course? Personally, I have, silver's number 1, platinum's number 2, Bitcoin's number 3, gold's number 4. That's how I am personally in my portfolio, and that's really all I can comment on is what I do in my portfolio. But, I do that in that. I think platinum is a great metal, and I'm willing to take a bit more of a risk in platinum than most would. I would rather have platinum than gold, personally, because I know how much gold is out there in supply, and I know how little amount of platinum is out there. And to the people that say, platinum, they're not using it in catalytic converters anymore, so the electric car is a big problem for platinum. What exactly is gold used on? Like, what is gold used on? No, it's not an industrial metal. It is just a monetary metal. You stack it because you consider it money. What happens when more people consider platinum to be money? But at the same time, it's heavily used in industry, much more so than just catalytic converters. That's something that a lot of people they're not looking into that. It's really just a matter of, people might start doing their research and realize how finite platinum is in comparison to gold. And I think that has a lot to do with why the price is skyrocketing right now in platinum. Skipped my comment. I'm trying to get to every comment. There's a lot of them coming through. We'll do Q&A for a little bit here. I think I talked about pretty much everything I want to talk about with the stock market, but just like a week and a half ago, I got a lot of Dogecoin people really mad at saying, it's probably, going to crash. It's probably not a good idea to be in Doggycoin. It's the truth doesn't usually feel too good, especially if you have a lot of money parked in the stock market. If somebody has, a 401k in the stock market, you don't really want to hear, yeah, the dollar might crash. The dollar is heavily overvalued and they're continuing to dilute it. I can't even fathom the idea that you've printed gold's entire market cap in 1 year in 2020, but then you're comfortable printing another 3 trillion like it's a good thing in 2021. You see all these stimulus package update videos, and that's really YouTubers just looking for clickbait off of everybody's, everybody's struggling, and YouTubers are making, stimulus package videos to try to give them clickbait. It's like, it's so backwards. It's so backwards. And the truth is, the real information, not just the, oh, well, Yellen said this and Powell said this and, oh, he said that. Apart from the drama, the real problem is your salaries, the money you make every month, is deflationary or stagnant at best, while the instrument you're being paid in is diluted. It's a terrible mixture. It's a horrible mixture. So not only is it being diluted, but it's not just the 3 trillion. It's where do you go put that money? That money goes into the commercial banks who then give out loans at will and then print even more money into the system through fractional reserve banking. But they don't even have fractional reserve banking anymore. It's just 0% now. So they can just give out loans at will. So basically this money is just this huge, it's a funnel from the Fed into the bank and then dispersed in bulk. The Fed is addition, the banks is multiplication of that money. And now we're in a situation where the can's just been kicked too far down the road. And if you're going to start seeing more companies finding ways to get out of the dollar, just like Tesla did, we're going to see a lot more of that. You're going to see a lot more of that. It's a scary, really scary scenario here. And it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, the situation that we're in. Would you buy fractional platinum or 1 ounce and higher? Personally, I would, and I can only comment personally, I would buy 1 ounce and higher because fractional is just ridiculously expensive, in my opinion. Bitcoin is inflation times. What's the worst that Bitcoin is inflation times and only 21 million will be mined? It is the best asset to hold. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting, and I'm putting a lot of time into it. How do you feel about foreign equity versus American right now? Is foreign safer? I'm personally completely out of the stock market and into decentralized assets right now. So just like I'd like to be invested in a company that has more assets than liabilities, and most companies now are just a liability hype bubble. I mean, I'm trying to stay away from it because realistically, the dollar is just the cleanest shirt in the dirty hamper. They're all fiat currencies. They're all valued in nothing. They're all back to debt, so I would look at foreign equities in the same way that I'm looking at American equities. If you look at Micro Solutions, I mean, that's a company I'd be interested in having some money in because their treasury is Bitcoin. And they're also in software, so they're in a pretty good space there. Michael Saylor's really made a great company. I'm looking at more stuff like that rather than if it's positioned in a different market than the U.S. market because they're all fiat currencies. I'm looking at more of where I'm putting my assets in which specific stocks. Tesla, if they decided to put more of their treasury or do a secondary, I mean, if I was in charge of any American stock that was overly hyped and was at a valuation that as the CEO, I personally looked at the valuation and went, nah, we don't deserve that. No, that's too high of a valuation. We're not into that. If I was in that position, I would be trying to take as much of that capital into the treasury and then buy real assets with that capital in the time that I had. And I'd consider it like a ticking clock. I'd be like, how fast can we get as much money as we can out of the stock and put it into assets right now? That's how I would be looking at it. So that's how I consider my current money and where I'm at with my business. I want more assets. I'm not looking to get equities that are overvalued right now. I just want more assets. And I want to put my money into safe places right now. Dancing Vegan says, I asked, someone wants to know where and how to buy silver. Please be specific with steps, paying less fees, being efficient, how to store it safely, etc. Thanks. I own Mineral Exchange, so if you want to go to mineralexchange.com and fill out the Wholesale Buyer Club link, it'll show that our inventory is sold out right now. But if you go to the Wholesale Buyer Club link and you can put in that information there and someone will contact you from the sales team and get back to you on that. If you want to go through my company, there's a lot of other companies online as well to buy precious metals from. When it comes to just, I would get more active, on social media and stuff. You can go to my social media at Rob Sultan, and I have information on my Facebook group and all different kinds of places where I sell on a weekly basis. So if you wanted to get on a small time basis, you can go to, I have a Facebook group on it. So if you go to my personal Instagram, there's all that information in my bio of the Instagram at Rob Sultan. And if I miss your questions over here, please do shoot me a DM on Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. And I can handle those DMs on a personal basis. I'm still working through them, but every day I try to knock out like 20 of my DMs. So I will personally get back to you if you shoot me a DM on Instagram, at Rob Sultan on Instagram. If I missed your question, just shoot me a DM over there. Chevy 1500. No, you're going to sell for cash. Actually, the first thing I do when I have cash, just like Tesla, is I'm trying to find a place to move that cash. So I might sell a silver position and I'm looking to buy a platinum position. I might sell a gold position and I'm looking to buy a platinum position. I might sell a platinum position and looking to buy a silver position. So It's actually a game of hot potato. It's not a game of sit on my fiat currency. That's the thing. It's a game of cash flow. It's a game of hot potato. And that's what this entire stock market is. How good of a hot potato player are you? Are you a good hot potato player? With Doggy Coin, are you a good hot potato player because you're playing hot potato? You know, that's what it really comes down to. You know, except that's high stakes hot potato. It's not like you can hang on to it for longer durations of time. That's extremely high stakes hot potato, what they're playing. So that's the situation. Doggy Coin's the future. It cracks me up. How did it perform over the past week and a half? Did it perform like Bitcoin did? Because Bitcoin looks like it performed pretty well, you know? You see, what I love about doing the live feeds is that I know the audience out there, you know, all right, let's just solve this problem here with the whole Doggy Coin people. If you believe in what I'm saying, please smash the like button because it really does help with the YouTube algorithm, and it also helps that the real information gets out there instead of just the pumping. You know, it really is just the pumping. So we'll answer this. This guy thinks dog is deflationary. It is not. It does not have a hard cap. It has a 5% inflation rate. So every year it can essentially print just like Poof Powell prints dollars. It's fiat digital is what it is. It's fiat digital. It was created as a complete joke, and it cracks me up that people actually buy into it. It blows my mind. He's saying deflationary, but he just wants to be a pumper that sells it on somebody else. He wants to inevitably sell that position to make a big profit on you. But with Bitcoin, it is actually deflationary. And not only does it end at 21 million, it gets harder and harder to mine a Bitcoin. So it actually ends, there's a cap there. And that is the reason for cryptocurrency, for a decentralized asset. If you wanted something like a coin like Doggy Coin, you just go to Litecoin. It's a better choice. If you're riding a bicycle, do you want to go jump on a skateboard? Do you see a skateboard as the better choice? Because if you have Litecoin, that's way better than Doggy Coin. Not that I like Litecoin myself, but if you wanted something with those parameters, at least Litecoin has a hard cap. Doggy Coin is an inflationary, not a deflationary. I suggest to actually read the white paper. Unfortunately for you, I actually have read the white paper. So it is not a deflationary. It is actually an inflationary coin. So that just goes to show you. That's the type of people that are pumping Doggy Coin. They haven't even researched it. You can research it, and you'll find out it's an inflationary coin. Not a deflationary coin, an inflationary coin. So that's the type of people that are pumping Doggy Coin, and that's why I leave them in the comments, so that they can expose what they are. And that's how you get it. It's amazing. It's amazing. So it's kind of funny to me. So all the people in the live feed, you know, if you believe the same things that I believe, please smash the like button and help this video reach more people, because guys like that who haven't actually done the research and they call it a asset, or not even asset, an altcoin called Doggy Coin that was created as a meme. He's calling it a deflationary coin. It is a inflationary coin. He hasn't even read the white paper. So, oh, you Doggy Coins. Oh, you Doggy Coin out there. It's funny to me. It's funny to me. If you can inject more coins into that network of coins, then it is inflationary. If you cannot, if it is hard capped at 21 million, you cannot. It is deflationary. So it is, I completely disagree with you, and it is an inflationary coin. The inflation amount is constant. Oh, so it's constantly going at 5%. So you want money that constantly goes up at 5% a year. Oh, okay. Interesting. It makes me, the current supply grows, therefore the inflation rate decreases over time. What? I've had enough of it. I've given enough of my time, but it's like, that's literally saying inflation. It's something funny to me. All of these, yeah, it's called denial. Yeah. So it's something funny to me when they finally understand, oh, wait, I looked it up in this live stream and it is an inflationary coin, but it only inflates a certain amount every year. That's the dollar. They have been telling us the dollar only inflates a certain amount every year for a very long time. So are we happy with the way the dollars are going? Is that the dollar's lost 98% plus of its buying power since its inception. So do you want another coin like that loses 98% of its buying power over time? Does that sound like a good idea? Because 5% annually is about right. About right for the dollar. Actually, it's a bit less than that with a dollar, but, go ahead. It's something very funny to me. But let's get to some other comments here. I've had enough of that. And by the way, let's check the scoreboard, Doggy Coin. I talked about Doggy Coin when it was at 8 cents. I didn't talk about it before. I talked about it that when it was peak hype. And I said, hey, this isn't a good idea, in my personal opinion. And what happened? Because the videos are there. I wasn't talking about Doggy Coin until it was 8 cents. And now it's, 5 cents? And I got people still trying to preach Doggy Coin when Bitcoin went up 30% plus, when Doggy Coin fell by 30% plus, and Bitcoin went the polar opposite direction. I'm still having to stand up for that. It's hilarious to me. But let's get to some more comments here. The real pandemic is our currency. Mr. T. Mr. T's a sharp cat. You've been in my live feeds for a few live feeds now. I really appreciate your comments, Mr. T. I'm with you. When do you think it is possible a silver short squeeze? It's a silver short squeeze isn't the same as like a GameStop short squeeze. It takes a long time. So as more people consistently buy physical silver, the demand increases and the supply isn't there to meet the demand. It just has to go up over time, and if it continues at that rate, then yeah, a squeeze could happen, but you have to put the banks in a situation where they have to cover their shorts. You have to put them in a situation where they actually have no more silver in the vault to cover their shorts. Hey, Mr. T, thank you, man. That's the guys like you are why I do these, and all the guys and girls out there that are, that understand, do their research on their things and aren't into making, the whole silver squirrel movement that we have on this page. It's not about putting yourself in a position where you want to have a stock where you just want to make a quick buck out of it. There's nothing free in this world. I hate to break it to all the Doggy Coin people. There's nothing free in this world. The more free stuff you take, the more strings you have attached to you, the more you're a puppet, the more you take free stuff. What happened to the people that were taking their free trades from Robinhood? Well, they figured out their trades were being given up and they were actually controlled by these large banks. There's nothing free. And everybody that wants a quick buck out of Doggy Coin, they all think they can turn 1,000 to 1,000,000. It's just a recipe for failure. It's a recipe for failure because it's not easy. Good investments take time. They take conviction of a large amount of capital, and they take time. I would be comfortable putting my net worth into silver. I would be more comfortable putting my net worth into Bitcoin than Doggy Coin. I don't know if I would want to, do that, but I would be much more comfortable with Bitcoin than Doggy Coin. But the Doggy Coin people, they're not comfortable putting their net worth in that. They want to put a position to inevitably dump on somebody. They are buying to sell. Just point blank. That is the easiest way to just completely end that argument. They are buying to sell. They are not buying to buy. I am buying silver to buy. I am buying platinum to buy. I am buying Bitcoin to buy. I am not buying it to sell. That's the big difference between the Doggy Coin and all the pumpers and the GME and the AMC and all of that. They are buying to sell. Let's just be honest about it. And, the truth hurts. The truth hurts because they know it. I know it, And obviously, because it fell from 8 cents to 5 cents over the past week and a half, the scoreboard doesn't lie. The scoreboard doesn't lie, you know? It is what it is. And I would imagine doggy coin goes to a penny. Just continues to go down. And it might sit there flat for a little while. Who knows? You know, but the first thing Elon Musk talks about now is, we need the whales to sell their positions. We need the whales to sell their positions. And now, you know, that's what he says recently, Elon Musk. You should have started with that, Elon Musk. You know, you should have started. Yeah, you know, doggy coin could be interesting. Could be interesting to replace the dollar. But let's get the whales to sell first beforehand. But no. Elon, let's pump it first and then talk about how much whales own of doggy coin. Oh, perfect. Amazing. Pump doggy coin and then tell everybody after the fact that it's been pumped that there's these huge whales that could inevitably collapse doggy coin by selling their positions. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, great. That was just an awesome choice there. Awesome choice there, you know. It's so ironic to me. The only reason I talked about Dodge is because it keeps getting brought up in the comments. I'm over it. Silver for the wins. I mean, I'm all about silver. Let's get to some more comments apart from doggy coin. I really don't want to block people because I just wanted to expose, you know, that they're very uninformed. I wanted people to see the comments there because doggy coin is a inflationary coin. It is. It inflates. They add more coins to it every year. So if you have 1,000 coins, there's more every single year. There's 1,100 or 1,050 every year. There's more coins added. It's an inflationary coin. If you add coins, if it doesn't end, it's an inflationary coin. Hate to break it to you. Very simple economics. But I like to leave them on there so that people can see what a pumper looks like and what to look out for themselves, because I was a little guy out there. You know, I've been at very low places in my life. So I don't like it when people try to, you know, talk about, you know, stuff that's not true. Let's get to some other comments here. Enough of the doggy coin. I'm probably going to end up, I might end up removing some people from here because they just keep going with it when they're wrong. But let's get to some more comments. At least you know what? That's very true. Left side story. He says at least Dodge is bringing the masses into crypto. That is true. They will get. You know, I am the type of person that needs to be. Someone can tell me a fire's hot, and I still got to burn myself to learn that the fire's hot. So that's what will happen. Talk to us about. You know, I try to not talk about that stuff because those are like keywords I don't really want to talk about. But yeah, there's been that actually drives into. Russia is basically saying we're out of the dollar recently. Just yesterday, you know, Putin's talking about how he's out of the dollar and he doesn't want to have any reliance on the dollar whatsoever. If that's not a sign that the dollar is getting weak, then I don't know what is. You know, the dollar index is a mixture of all the countries and what they think of the dollar and what they value our dollar. And that's what the dollar index is. It's a reflection of what other countries think of the dollar. And right now it's sitting at lofty levels. It's a very interesting time. And when you see comments like that from another superpower in the world, yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's scary. And it only, you know, validates the things that we're talking about. So it's something very interesting that's happening over there. And he's talking about specifically that he doesn't trust the dollar and he wants to get Russia, you know, away from the dollar. It's true. Big R, he goes, well, basically, he says because his rubles are worth so much. Um, the dollar really is the cleanest shirt in the dirty hamper. It's true. The dollar is the cleanest of the fiat currencies. Now, what if the other fiat currencies decide to not be fiat currencies anymore? Has anybody ever thought of that? Like, what if these other countries are accumulating precious metals? What if they're accumulating Bitcoin? What if they're doing something to change the system that we currently have? That's an interesting situation there that's unfolding. But it's true what you said. It's true. The dollar is the cleanest of the dirty hamper of the fiat currencies. What's up, Freddie? Thanks for hopping in. But it's all, the thing is, it's all fiat currency. You know, the dollar's fiat currency. All these other currencies out there, they're all fiat currency. They're all back to nothing. So what happens when one of them decides to change that? You know, so it seems to be like a matter of time, because if there's anything that's exposing the system that we have, and this is why I'm actually, okay, so we'll throw the doggy coin people a bone here. I didn't mean that, but pun intended, I guess. The more people that are being exposed into cryptocurrency and being, you know, shown cryptocurrency, they're finally seeing, put it this way, people that are like 16 to 18, the youth, and even younger than that in the world, they weren't thinking about the gold standard. They weren't thinking about fiat currency. They weren't thinking about, you know, what is money. And I've made a lot of videos on what I think money is and how it came to be, how Bitcoin came to be. But that information wasn't getting out there. So it's the people that are seeing the Dogecoin hype and all of that and learning about cryptocurrency. Finally, it's in the mainstream that the money is back to nothing, and that it's kind of a crazy situation that we're in, where we've trusted the dollar being back to nothing and printed at will for so long. These are things that the youth they weren't looking at this. So it's interesting to finally see this information get out there to the masses, and I think it's a great point. I think it's a great point. Stop feeding the doggies. The truth is, I want to get the more people learn about fiat currency and just how crazy the system is that we have, the better. The better. Doggies will give you a hard day. I swear. Maybe. What about rhodium, palladium, and copper? You know, rhodium is like that middle child of the metals community that just keeps outperforming and nobody's talking about it. It's interesting. Now, who can really afford a $20,000 1 ounce rhodium? It's pretty crazy. Where is rhodium at right now? Last time I saw it was at about $20,000 for 1 ounce of rhodium, which is crazy. Yeah, $21,300 for an ounce of rhodium. That is intense. It is intense, considering I sold a lot of rhodium when it was in the low thousands. They're saying that rhodium is being used quite a bit when it comes to like screens, electronic screens. It's like a certain component in the screens of new gadgets. So there's something along those lines. But I should do a video on rhodium. I should research rhodium a bit more. I don't deal in it like ever. Once in a while I get rhodium in, but people aren't talking about it for the kinds of gains that it has. So that's definitely a justified question. Let's get some more questions here. We'll do another, I don't know, a little bit of questions here. I'm trying to keep the live feeds a little bit about an hour so people that miss the live feed can actually watch it. It's not like some 6 hour long live stream. But everybody that's in the live stream, I really appreciate you being here. If you want to be subscribed to the channel, I do these impromptu live streams where we can all kind of talk and learn together about the current situations that we're in. This live stream was just about talking about what I think Bitcoin and precious metals going up like this could do to the overall stock market. And overall, just to summarize that, it's exposing that the dollar is diluted and that these companies are trying to protect themselves. They're starting to realize, I mean, they're not fools at the top of these, in the executive panel of these companies. You know, they're not fools there, and they're starting to realize, well, they've printed this many dollars and we are in a very rough position economic wise. Yeah, we want to protect our assets. We want to protect our assets right now. And so if there's anything that we can see from the price of Bitcoin going up and the price of precious metals going up, is that these companies are trying to get out of the dollar. And the companies that don't have assets are extremely risky to be in right now. The risk is extremely high. The one thing I agree with Peter Schiff, although I am obviously very opposed to Peter Schiff on his views on Bitcoin, I agree with him where I think the dollar will crash. I think the dollar starts dropping tremendously, especially if there's news of more and more companies wanting to get out of the dollar. You know, it's like people don't want to hold them. People don't want to hold dollars. They want something else. So obviously the value of that's going to go down. It's very simple, supply and demand. It's like the demand for dollars is down and they're trying to get rid of them. If there are stocks that are overly hyped and valued in dollars and there isn't assets to value that hype against, yeah, they're in extremely risky territory. And the dollar looks like it should, I mean, it should crash. It should go down at least quite a bit from 90. So I would keep my eyes, if there's one thing to take away from this video, I would keep my eyes on the dollar index. I'd be watching the dollar index every single day, and that is probably the most important indicator to be looking at right now in this specific market to see where the dollar is. Because if the dollar goes down, metals and Bitcoin will spike even higher. Will continue to spike higher. They are polar opposites. So the dollar index goes down, takes more dollars to buy that asset. And these companies, they want to get into assets. They want to get out of the dollar and put their money into assets. And I would be looking for that right now. I'd be looking for certain companies that have more assets than liabilities, and they're very few and far in between. So what does that tell you for the overall market? Very scary. And I feel for all the people that have 401ks, who have IRAs, that the money is locked up there and they can't get it out even if they wanted to. I feel for you, because it's very unfair to have your money locked up in something, and also to the people that are getting a certain amount of money every month, that are on a certain salary or making a certain wage, and you will have a deflationary wage, or your assets are parked in something while they're diluting the dollar. So the dollar is inflation and your job is deflation. Very unfair. Very unfair. Over this entire time span, put it this way, they've printed roughly 13 trillion, give or take, right? In the past year and a quarter. In the past year and a quarter, are you making the same amount of money? If you're making the same amount of money over the last year and they've printed as much money as they have, doesn't that seem a bit unfair? The instrument that they are paying you in has been diluted heavily. And yet your job wage hasn't been diluted. It hasn't gone up. The wage that you're making has not inflated, but the dollar supply has inflated. It's a very unfortunate and unfair scenario here. And a lot of people that are getting that $1,300 check, they don't understand what it's going to do to them in the long haul, or is it a $1,400 check? But all of these stimulus package videos out there, they're not really telling the real information, and that's the truth of it. So everybody that's been in this live stream, I really appreciate you being here. Would really appreciate it if you smash that like button, because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. I know I say it a lot and it's annoying and it's repetitive, but it really, really does help if you smash that like button. If you want to be a subscriber to the channel, please click that red subscribe down below. If you click the red subscribe down below, all you have to do is click the red subscribe there. It's totally free to do it. And then click the bell afterwards. You'll be notified of all future live streams and all future content on this video. I plan to be putting out at least 3 videos a week on this channel. Really enjoy doing these live streams. Even if we get the crazy doggy coin pumpers in here, I still love you too. I still love you too. But Appreciate you all being here. And if I missed your question, if you put a question in there, shoot me a DM on Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. If I missed your question or if you have a question on your mind, shoot me a DM there. It will be actually me that reaches back out to you. I'm a small YouTuber, small Instagrammer. If you want to go and reach out to me on Instagram, I will personally get back to you there if I miss your question here. We'd love to answer those questions in the DMs on Instagram. I don't have messages on YouTube, unfortunately. Let's get to a few more questions. I want to do these live streams we'll do it about a minute and 30, or an hour and 30 minutes rather. You can tell it's getting a little bit late. Let's get to a few more questions. Downvotes are just as good for the YouTube algorithm as upvotes, Rob. Really? Interesting. Well, I appreciate it if they're upvotes, but that's interesting information. But I would love it if it was the upvote ones. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. Let me see. Show bar. Which one? This one? Oh, the sound of silver. Beautiful sound. Hang on. Get to some more of these questions. See, the thing is, people don't have large amounts of money to invest heavily in anything you mentioned. Excuse me. I think you would do well to give advice on a strategy to become financially independent. It's a great point and a great question, Mike Cast. If I had a lower amount of money, I would do what I did 5 years ago and basically live out of my car and bounce around pawn shops, flipping things online to get my first cash flow together. I mean, I would be working on a business. I would be trying to absorb real knowledge. You see, the unfortunate thing is people that want a quick payday and they want to turn their 1,000 into 10,000 on Dogcoin or Doggycoin or whatever. They usually don't. That doesn't play out well. What would play out better is if you had 1,000 to invest, buy some books. And make sure you don't have any overhead and just go and read books, learn information, go on YouTube, learn things. That would be the best thing you can do and come up with some kind of business idea with that. Turn 1,000 into some company that you make a website for, learn how to make a website, go on YouTube and teach yourself how to learn how to make a website, do something along those lines. That would be what I would do. If you want a genuine, piece of advice there. If I had such a low amount of capital that I was interested in buying Dogecoin or Doggycoin, I would much rather spend that on in like learning information and building a business. That's genuine advice. That's what I would rather do. Learn to code. I agree. That would be a great skill to have, is learning to code. Any thoughts on chains? What is the bar brand you show? This is an Engelhard here. I believe there's a couple Johnson Mattheys in there. There's a lot of kind of unique older refineries. This one's like a Franklin Corporation bar. Over there, I got Credit Suisse's over there. Certified ingots. I believe my friend in there that was going to buy that certified, he wants to buy this one. It's right there. Get a few more questions in here. I'm gonna stop the live feed at an hour and 30 minutes. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, just click the red subscribe down there. Completely free to click the subscribe. You click the subscribe and the bell afterwards, you'll be notified of all future live streams. I'm doing these impromptu. I'm gonna do about 3 of these a week. And I plan to put a lot more content out on this page. If you haven't watched my other videos, I have a lot of videos. So if somebody has a question on platinum on my channel, I have many videos on platinum. I have many videos on gold, on silver, on Bitcoin and how Bitcoin came to be. What is money? What is fiat currency? What is a reserve bank? What is a commercial bank? What's the difference between them? All of those different topics are discussed on this channel. Would love to have you as a subscriber here. Completely free to do it. All you got to do, click the red subscribe down below and the bell afterwards. and you'll be notified of all future videos. And would love it if you went through the other videos as well on this channel, because there's a lot of good information on the other videos. If I missed your question over here, all you have to do is go to my Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram and shoot me a DM over there. If you want to follow that Instagram, would really appreciate it. It is actually me replying on the DMs there. So if you could shoot me a DM on Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram, would love to get back to all of your questions there if I missed them in the comments here. Really do enjoy talking with you all in here. It means a lot that you guys spend your time in my live feeds. It's been just absolutely crazy, the growth on YouTube and the community that we've built here. I'm really humbled by it. Thank you all so much for being part of this. Let's get through a couple more comments. Mike Cass, I appreciate that, man. Mike, that's real, genuine information. You know, not very long ago, I wasn't always the guy, you know, showing off a Rolex and having this here. This is for clickbait, and I also wanted to talk about silver. It is what it is. I mean, let's just be honest about it. But I wasn't always in that position. There was a time in my life where I lived out of my car. There was a time in my life when I was just a treasure hunter, you know, traveling all over the country, trying to find rare items that people undervalued in their pawn shops and whatnot. And I had some pretty serious scores along that journey. But in that journey, I was broke. I mean, there was a time in my life where I was dead broke and I barely had 2 pennies to scratch together, you know? So I know what it's like when you have that first little nest egg that you're putting together, but don't get distracted by some quick money scheme. Figure out how to flip that money with a legitimate business, and then have capital that you can actually make an investment with conviction. That's the biggest thing. I've talked about this in prior videos, and I hate to repeat myself, but the information is so true. People that buy things with conviction make way, way more money than people that want a quick 10%, 10x, you know, want a quick 1,000%. You know, if you turn $1,000 into 10,000, it's far different for me to turn $250,000 into $500,000 and make 100%. They might have made it, you know, 1,000%, and I might have only made 100%, but I made $250,000 and they only made 10 grand or 9 grand. You know, so it's all about how much conviction you have and how much capital you're putting into that trade. It's far less than the people bragging about what their percentage ROI was, but rather what the actual number figure of the ROI was. Because I'd rather have 100% of $250,000 on a year, make $250,000, and turn, you know, 250,000 to 500,000 versus making 1,000 into 10,000 and doing it in an extremely risky way. Whereas I moved that 250 into 500 in a far less risky way. That's how I feel about that situation. But if I had less than like 10 grand to invest, I would put that into a business or learn information. That would be what I would do first, and then accumulate money from there. That's what I would personally do. Time's up. Time's up. Somebody even reminded me, time's up. We are past a minute or an hour and 30 minutes rather. I want to keep these videos a little bit shorter when we do the live feeds. And you know that I sometimes I'll do these live streams way longer than I should, and I do it because I appreciate you all so much for being here. I've done live streams for like 6 hours until I'm like falling asleep here before, and those are actually posted on my page. But let's go ahead and let's end this live stream. Let's end it right now. Thank you all so much for being part of this live stream. I really appreciate you being here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, would really appreciate it if you click that red subscribe down below and the bell afterwards. You'll be notified of all future lives and all future videos on this channel. Thank you so much again for being here. If I missed your question, shoot me a DM. Follow me on Instagram at Rob Sultan. I will get back to every DM there on my Instagram. It might take me a couple days or a week, but I will get back to you in the DMs on my Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. Just shoot me a follow over there and shoot me the question there if I missed it here in the live feed. Thank you everybody for being here. And if you could smash that like button before we turn this thing off, would really, really appreciate it. Maybe we can get it up to 300 likes. Who knows? We're at 265. If you could smash that like button, would really appreciate it. And thank you for helping my channel grow into what it is today. It blows my mind that we are at 12,000 subscribers and counting on the channel. So the Silver Squirrel movement is strong. And by the way, silver's looking strong as well. We're edging back up to 30. We're edging back up. Thank you all again. See you at the next live stream. Signing out.